Okay, we are live.
We are live. Happy Monday, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining. My name is Larisa Love, Joico brand ambassador, and I am so excited to teach something a little bit different. I'm going to be teaching a modern twist to color intensities. Just kind of getting your guys' heads out of like thinking always so straightforward and thinking a little bit outside the box. I'm also going to be teaching how to enhance natural results with intensity shades and also about placement of depth and brightness and kind of modernizing it a little bit differently than just typical highlights, and also making sure that we're really thinking about the client's application and tailoring it to them. So I have a lot to teach today, so let's get started. And before I start, just know that we, or Joico, is giving away an awesome giveaway. And how you win is interact and engage. And they're giving away one YouthLock kit and one color intensity kit. And again, ask questions, and then Katrina behind the screen will ask them, and hopefully I'll be able to answer them to you guys. All right, so this is my gorgeous doll head. Well, half of it, it's gorgeous. And I wanted to showcase something a little bit different, like I said earlier. Something that I don't always normally teach. So today is really about color placement, tailoring it to the client's hair, to their thickness, their depth, whatever they want for brightness, but also tailoring the color and also thinking a little outside the box with color intensities. So believe it or not, this actually was colored with color intensities, the back of the hair, and then obviously pre-lighten her, which I'm going to be showcasing a little bit of the pre-lightening as well. But I feel like a lot of times when we think about reds or vibrant tones, we always go directly to, demi creams or liquids. And we don't necessarily go to intensities. So I want to showcase something a little bit different for you guys to think outside the box. For someone that has level 6 brunette hair like her, previously lightened or not, a lot of times we're going to throw either permanent or, cream or liquid shade on it to create some type of tone. But why not throw an intensity shade, especially for a client that doesn't want to necessarily deal with the color not fading and actually sticking to a color. Someone that likes to change up their color a lot, this is a really good way of throwing on a color, letting it fade naturally, and then playing around with more tones. Someone that doesn't want to necessarily stick with a tone. So with her hair, I actually threw on a color intensity, and look at how insanely gorgeous and vibrant this tone is. And then for the color placement of her brightness, I want to showcase a little bit of different tone, color blocking kind of, but also making sure that the colors connect. When it comes to the money piece or the hero piece, I feel like a lot of times we go a little bit more old school and we just apply the brighter piece for the money piece in the front, right? But a lot of times, not everyone has long front pieces, speaking to myself, but we want to elongate that money piece, right? So I came up with a technique where it's connected from all the way through, from the bottom, kind of at the nape area, but it doesn't look like that, and it all kind of blends together. For the brunette here that I toned her with the red, I actually applied Hot Kiss and Passion Berry from the Love Aura collection. And I did one on one together, and I applied it straight on here on dry hair. And you guys can see again how pigmented that color is. And she doesn't have to stick with this color. It will fade really beautifully, and you can get rid of this color with Joico eraser if you wanted to. So she doesn't have to necessarily feel like she is living with this color for a long time, especially reds that tend to not fade really, really well, and you're gonna have to pull it out, retone. This will fade really pretty, especially if you have a nice color underneath it, which she has a level 6 brunette. Again, I tone her with half and half of Hot Kiss and Passion Berry. Also, this is from the Love Aura collection. This is very near and dear to my heart because I did formulate this with Joico. And so if you guys haven't tried these out, highly suggest you do. Joico has they have around 31 color intensities, which is incredible because you can intermix all the shades. You don't have to stick to one color. You can literally play around with all the shades, intermix them, create your own tailored tone, customize it to your client or to whatever tone that you want. So it's really fun. They're direct dyes. You don't have to mix them with developers. You literally apply, intermix, and go. And I'm going to showcase how to apply a little bit later on, a few tips and tricks on things that I like to do that make my life a little bit easier, which will make your guys' life a little bit easier. Okay, so like I was saying, I find that a lot of times the money piece, hair piece as I like to call it, not a lot of clients have that really elongated money, or I should say hair in the front. Sometimes we have a little bit of breakage or layers, but we want it to feel like it has that boldness around the face. So I came up with a technique that connects the blonde all the way through where it looks like she has that elongated money piece, hero piece. But in reality, she still has that layering coming through, but yet still blended, but still bold. And I'm going to be toning this side, showcasing how I like to tone with intensities. And on this side, I'm going to showcase how I created this look. And again, if you guys have any questions, please ask away. And Katrina will be on the screen. We'll be here to answer all the questions. Ooh. Okay, so as we all know, if you've been to any of my classes or seen me live, you know how obsessed I am with Joico to fight damage. Their Pro 1 and Pro 2 is incredible. This is for in-salon only. It's a bond builder like no other, you guys. It's so amazing because all you do is spray and go. You don't have to adjust your developer, your timing, or your formula. You literally utilize the same exact thing that you're going to do. You just spray and go. Makes the hair 5 times stronger, reduces 80% less breakage, maintains 90% more color vibrancy, and my favorite, gives you greater and even results. And it's so easy to use. All you do is shake the can, start in the back, take horizontal sections, and then spray about 1 inch away in downward bursts. Shake the can and spray in downward bursts. I find that it gets less fumy the more you shake it. So I like to shake it for every single section, so that way it's not so fumy in a client's face or in your face. When you get to the front, take diagonal forward sections, and that way you can spray away from the face.
Jason wants to know, do you shampoo intensities or water rinse?
You absolutely need to shampoo your intensities. Make sure that you rinse it out until the water is clear. Depending on the intensities, I like to rinse them out separately. But I find that if you leave it on for the amount of time that you're supposed to, which is 20 minutes, you can literally wash it all out and it doesn't really bleed onto each other. But just for safety reasons, especially with certain tones, wash out with separate sections. Make sure it's clear in the water and then shampoo really nicely. I would shampoo with Joico to fight damage shampoo and then definitely condition on mid to ends. This is a color that you definitely want to shampoo. All right, let's get started. So we're gonna go ahead and section out the other half of her hair. And again, I'm gonna be showcasing a little bit of a different thing today about how to connect your hero piece and really just tailoring it to the client's hair, whether it's thick or thin, you know, the density, how bold they want it, and just really all about the color placement. I find that a lot of times we overthink when it comes to highlighting. You know, we overthink when we do sections, and a lot of times less is more. So I'm really going to showcase how to do less sections, less foils, less slices, but really create that pop of color that we all want. Okay, wow, her hair is really soft. So let's just go ahead and clip that out of the way. All right, so for someone like me and a lot of clients, I would say if we did just like a money piece or a bold piece in the front, then we would just have like literally this tiny little section. Like I feel like I have a lot of either breakage or layers, so I find that this would be literally the only money piece minus what I would want. So I'm going to show you guys how to connect all the way through utilizing this little technique. So depending again on a client's depth of hair, thickness, also just the look that they want, you can take either a thicker section or a thinner section, but we're going to be taking a pretty bold of a section so that we can showcase the color really well with the intensity and just following the other side. And her hair is pretty dense. It is pretty thick. So we're going to be starting about a 1 inch from the top of the crown.
Alicia is asking, can you apply intensities on wet hair?
You can actually apply intensities on wet hair. It's meant to be for dry hair, but I'm going to be talking a little bit about intensities later on and a little bit of a tip and trick that I like to do that make my life easier if you are going to be applying on dry hair. If you're going to be applying on wet hair, there's also another tip that I would recommend for you guys to do as well. So that way the color will intake. But it is supposed to be applied on dry hair. Just remember that. But you got to know the rules to break the rules. And if you guys know me and my techniques, I break a lot of rules in the hair game. If it works, right? All right. So we're going to go ahead and take about a 1-inch section through the back, taking a diagonal back section to the ear, a little bit above the ear, and then all the way downwards, basically to the nape of the hair. Okay? Now, we're not going to be fully going down to the back of the center because we're not doing blonde all the way through the nape area, just a little bit so it connects. We're going to go ahead and clip this out of the way. Then I'm going to showcase how I like to create and connect the front versus the back. And then we're going to go to the intensities. Okay, so I'm going to be lifting her with Joico Blonde Light Powder Lightener. This is an incredible lightener, you guys. It gives 9+ levels of lift. It has exotic oils, so it's going to keep the hair nice and moist as it's lifting. So I'm going to lift her really quickly, do the color placement really quickly, and then go back to the intensities. If you guys have any questions, though, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, how I'm doing it, please ask away. We're going to go ahead and start with level 10, okay? And it's 1:1 ratio. I don't like to scale it. For me, it's all about the actual, what's the word?
Consistency?
Yeah, consistency. So I like having a nice creamy Greek yogurt consistency, but again, it's 1:1 ratio. And I like to start all of my lightening services in the front because hair is most compromised where? In the front. Even if we're going to actually see with breakage when it comes to, or just compromise in general, when it comes to either, we good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When it comes to adding heat to the hair or anything like that, there's going to be a little bit more compromise where it's more, where we put more attention to, right? So I like to start in the front with the lowest developer and then finish in the back with the highest developer where it's most healthiest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and section her out into two. Where the arch of the eyebrow starts, that's where I'm going to section her out. And I'm going to actually go ahead and do this section really quick first, about the lower area of the front hairline. So that way that the foils are not in the way when I'm foiling this side. So normally I would start on this side, but I find it that the foils are in the way for me to really get close to the hairline around here. So I started doing the hairline around here first and then going to the top. Those little things make my life much easier. All right, we're gonna clip that out of the way. And I'm gonna start lightening. I just did a little tiny baby light. And we're gonna get pretty close to the root area. As close as we possibly can. And then when we get right to the root area, you're not gonna want to leave the lightener with a brush like that, leaving that demarcation line. Go against the grain of the brush, grain of the hair, giving it more of a softer blur. And you guys will be able to see the finished result once I am done. You'll be seeing it on Behind the Chairs Instagram, my Instagram, Larisa Doll, and on Joyce's Instagram. All right, now the next section, what I'm going to do is take a slice. And again, this is totally custom tailored to your client, but I want it to be bold, and obviously we're going to mimic the other side. So I want it to be nice and bold for us to see the color placement, especially with someone that has more dense hair like her. even though we're going to be taking multiple slices back to back, it's not going to look like it. It's going to look like the other side because she has so much hair. So what we're going to do is tease this one time. Now, if you find it that it's hard to tease, I find that there's two combs that really make a huge difference. So see how this one has wider teeth? This one has more closer teeth. So someone that has fine hair or it's more difficult to tease, go ahead and take the comb with the closer teeth and you'll be able to see a huge difference on how easy it is to tease. So let me show you. That was a little bit more difficult. So what I'm going to do is tease with this one, hold the hair, have a pretty good tension on the hair, and tease all the way through, going straight to as close as possible to the root. See how much easier that was for me to tease the hair. All right. Now, if you feel like you're taking a pretty thick section, what I like to do is apply lightener on my foil. And then this acts as a glue, but also it's going to saturate the bottom section of the hair. I apply a lot of product in the foil, making sure everything's saturated, really swirling my product through every single strand. And then as I get closer to the root, I'm going to go again against the grain of the hair. Okay, if you find that you apply lightener on the teased area, make sure that you take it away because it will leave splotches in that. You're just asking for a color correction, making your life more difficult. So make sure that you wipe it off right away. Okay, then we're gonna go to this side. We're gonna do the exact same thing. Take a baby light. Really fine weave baby light. Because when she wears her hair up, we still want it to look very sun-kissed and natural. Now you guys see how I was saying this would have been in the way if we did this first section first. This way we can just reapply the foil right over that top section and it makes our lives so much easier. These little things really make my life easier. And this is all trial and error for me. I used to do it, like I said, this way first, and I learned from my own mistakes. So now I can teach you guys my ways that have made my life much more easier. Again, applying enough product on that hair to make sure that everything is nice and saturated, getting as close as possible to the root area, and then going against the grain of the hair as we get close to the root area. That way it looks nice and bright around the hairline. All right, now we're going to take another slice and we're going to tease it one time. Have that tension, especially with someone that her hair is more difficult to tease. Tension is key, and you can go even a little bit closer to the tip of the hair and then tease it all the way through to the root area. Very important to really kind of squeeze that teased hair into the root area to avoid any splotchiness. Okay, acts as a glue, also will saturate and then apply a lot of product. So this first way of what I'm teaching you guys, minus going towards the nape, this is how I do a lot of my hero piece, my money piece on my clients. This is probably the main technique that I do for each client. And the blend is always seamless because of the teasing. For those of you that don't tease, I highly recommend. It really helps with the blend, the blur of the hair. Also, it creates a lot of depth and dimension. And it's just a way that will ensure you to have a beautiful hero piece, money piece, without feeling like you might not get the results that you want. All right, as we get closer to the root, again, go against the grain in the hair as close as possible, but not on that teased area. double, triple fold. If she was a client, I would fold a little bit one more time so that way it's away from her face. Also, a good tip too is because I do a lot of my foiling forward, so a lot of the hair is going to be forward with her foiling, and it can get a little heavy. What I like to do is once I'm done applying is apply cotton in between the foils. It's going to give it a nice lift, so that way that the hair can lift nice and easily, and also that the foils are not on the client's forehead. That little tip really helps a lot with just the comfortability and the lift of the client's hair. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take another slice, and this time we're going to tease it twice because what goes up must go down. So the more you tease, the lower the color will fall. The less you tease, the higher the color will be. So we're creating that blend without having to rely on the shadow root. As you guys can see on the other side, I did not shadow root her, but yet she has that beautiful blend. It's really all about the teasing. And we're still on Joico Blonde Life Powder Liner Level 10. I go up by the scoops, not by the sectioning. So once I'm done with her scoop, I'm going to go ahead and go up on the developer. All right, and then we're going to get a little bit closer to that root area. But as you guys can see, it's going to be a little bit lower than the first slice because of the teased. And don't worry, we're going to go back and actually color the in-between with the color intensity. Okay, and then this, we'll go ahead and leave this out. You can give it a highlight or a bold light, but in this case, we're really just giving her a nice connection between the top towards the bottom nape area. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start in the bottom nape area. And we're going to take a baby light from the bottom. Going all the way through. And we'll get as close as we can to that root area. For the doll head's a little bit more difficult because you can't really maneuver their head as much, but we'll get as close as possible as we can. This is an area that is really important. I find that speaking from my own experience, we forget because, we think, oh, the client doesn't see, it's fine, but these little details in a client's hair really make a huge difference, you guys. Even though they can't see it, other people can see it, and just having integrity in your work, knowing that you did the best you can with the brightening. One little foil of baby lights in the back nape area can make a huge difference in the overall look. Even when I'm doing a partial, I will always go in and add a little baby light in the back.
Jason said, do you ever use a foil board?
I don't, Jason, I don't use a foil board, but I actually just ordered some because I want to try it. I have tried it before and I didn't love it. I find that it can take a little bit more time, adding the foil on the board and taking it off. But I find that when you do thick sections like this, it's a little bit easier when it comes to saturation. So I want to retry because why not? So stay tuned for that because you might be seeing me using foil boards all over again.
And do you have any tips for undoing the teasing?
I do. So for those of you clients that I feel like she's gonna be really easy to comb out. I find it that the clients that are hard to comb out or hard to tease are easy to comb out. And then ones that are easy to tease are easy or harder to comb out. So I find that you're gonna wash it out, right? And before you shampoo or do anything like that, I like to apply Joico Defy Damage Pro 2 into the hair. Now that's again in salon service only. And leave it on, not only on the mid to ends, but apply it on the actual teased area for about 5-10 minutes, and then get a wet brush and comb through, and it's gonna comb out really seamlessly. Also, I love to add either Hydra Splash by Joico line or what is it called?
Moisture?
Yeah, or moisture recovery. Moisture recovery is intensely moisturizing, but it's really incredible for teasing out the hair. But it is really thick, but it's really incredible, but it's for thick hair. If your client has more finer hair, you can even add Hydra Splash, the Gelée mask on top of it, and it's just adds extra moisture to the hair, and it's really incredible for combing out with a wet brush. 5-10 minutes, and it will do its job. All right, so we're gonna get back to the front area. We're gonna go ahead and tease this 2 times. We took a slice. We're gonna tease this 2 times. And we're going to apply our product. We're still on Joico Blonde Life Power Liner Volume 10, but I actually just finished, so we're gonna go up. And again, like I was saying, I like to go up by scoops, and how I go up is by 5 increments. So meaning I go 10, 15, 20, 25. So my next developer is gonna be 15, and how you make 15 is half and half of 10 and 20. I find that everything lifts nice and evenly when I do that, instead of jumping to volume 20 right away.
Do you apply step 2 before you apply the gloss to get the tease out?
Do I apply step 2? Yes. So it's hard for someone to be teased out or to be combed out, I don't even shampoo them. I apply Pro 2 on it, apply it on the teased area, leave it on 5-10 minutes. And like I said, you can mix it even with Hydra or Hydra Gelée or the moisture recovery, depending on the hair for that extra moisture. And then comb out with a wet brush. So yes, I do. But if someone's easy to comb out, then we're gonna just wash, shampoo, tone, and then apply Pro 2. All right, as I'm getting closer to the root, and because we're angling our section, it's kind of going in a diagonal back section, I'm gonna do the same thing with my liner. So we're gonna go a little bit higher towards the top front area, and then a little bit lower towards the back area, creating that nice blend shadow root effect. Okay, and then this last section, I'm actually going to take it a little bit thicker of a section, just right here. When you guys are sectioning this out, make sure that you just section out at the same time from one side to the other. So that way everything is nice and cohesive and you don't do one side bolder than the other. In this case, obviously we did one side prior, so I can't really see or have a guide for the other side. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually section this out and take this out. And this is gonna be more of my bold light. Take a little bit thicker of a section for you guys to see. Her hair, she has so much hair, so even though this looks like we're gonna be creating a really big hero piece, money piece, it's not gonna be that crazy bold or as noticeable, just like you guys saw on the other side. It's really, again, depending on the depth of the client's hair. So we're taking a slice all the way through the diagonal back section, and we're just connecting the front and the back together. Okay, and we're gonna utilize this whole section as a slice, and we're gonna tease it 3 times, going as close as possible to that root area. And I'm gonna be taking my big pop of foils. These foils are life-changing. They're from Fremar. They're incredible because you can take such wide sections.
Melody's asking, how does 10 and 20 make 15?
So half and half of 10 and 20 is going to make volume 15 because you're diluting volume 20 with volume 10. Okay, we're going to be sectioning, or saturating, I should say, full thick slice. We teased it 3 times for it to have a nice blend, creating that shadow root effect. And then the last slice, we're going to be taking a bold light, so that way we'll have some red coming through the highlights. Just a little bit will create a beautiful dimension throughout the hair. And that is how I created the connection of the hero piece from one end to the other. Simple and easy, but so effective for those clients, or for someone like me that has either fine hair or has layers or has a little bit of breakage and you wanted to create more of a bolder hero piece. A few foils and that's it to make this gorgeous blend from one end to the other of the money piece on this side. Again, let me show you guys so you don't forget how stunning this blend is. I did not shadow root her at all yet, but yet she has this beautiful blend, super dimensional, that pop of brightness around the face, and just goes all the way through the nape area, but still has that gorgeous blend throughout the hair. So stunning. And so effective, yet so easy. But yeah, you guys can see how it doesn't look insanely bold. It just gives you that perfect connection all the way through. Super simple, super easy. And again, I toned her with Joico Color Intensity for this gorgeous ruby red tone. So that way she doesn't have to feel like she is really sticking with the color if she doesn't want to. She can play around with intensities. It's going to fade really beautifully. Intensities, depending on the shade, can be up to 20, last up to 20 plus shampoos. This can literally last for over 20 plus shampoos because it's so deep and so rich and so vibrant. But obviously the pastel shades will not last as long. And that's something that you need to let your clients know, because teaching and educating your clients on, what products to use and also how long the color will last, all of that will make a huge difference in the long run, because they will trust you more and they'll be able to take care of their color more. So make sure that they always leave with the right products to take care of their hair at home. I would recommend Joico Defy Damage shampoo and conditioner to protect this gorgeous color if they wanted to make the color last. Also make sure that they wash their hair out in lukewarm to cold water to maintain that color, because again, anything hot is going to melt, right? Melts it quicker. So think about on color. If you're using hot water, it's going to melt the color, fade it out much quicker. All right, got to get my sleeves up for this one. So I'm going to be using Passion Berry and Hot Kiss, and this is from the Love Aura collection. And we're going to be doing 1-to-1 ratio. The Passion Berry is this gorgeous shade. It's like this deep ruby tone, very intense. I love it. I love it because it is from my line, but also because it's just such a pretty color. Look at how gorgeous and rich this tone is. And then I'm gonna mix it with Hot Kiss. This is a very vibrant tone too. And this is just gonna add a little bit more of that fuchsia tone to the color, but still keep it super vibrant. Both shades are intensely vibrant. And it's just going to give it that extra punch to the Passion Berry. Super intense. Make sure you guys wear your aprons and gloves for this one, because it will stain. Okay, and I'm going to be applying it on the rest of her hair. I find that a lot of people think that you can only apply intensities on level 9 and lighter, and that is not true. She's obviously a level 6, and she picked up so nicely. So it's really about the intensity of the tone that can really pick up the actual hue. So she's a level 6, but this is, I would say, a level 6 in the intensity shades. And so this will really brighten and add pigment to her color without me having to apply a permanent shade or anything like that. It will fade beautifully because the undertone is beautiful. With any intensity, I highly recommend for you guys to always pre-tone, so that way you have a nice blank canvas underneath the hair, and for it to fade nice and evenly, and for the application and the result to be nice and even. Even when it comes to my yellows, for example, I still pre-tone, so that way there's a beautiful fade out and it all will take in evenly. And I'm just applying this all the way through. You guys can see already how it just takes that tone in. So intensities are not meant only for color that is lifted. You know, I feel like a lot of times that's what we're taught, so that's what we do. But it's not always so necessary. So I want to get you guys thinking outside the box a little bit by just doing something a little bit different, even like this, applying it on a level 6. Now make sure that she's nice and even before you do. And I'm going to go in between these foils and get all the way to that root area of where the lightener and the base meet. That way there is no color left untouched. If you guys are going to be utilizing this technique or anything I taught you today, please tag me, please tag Joico, please tag Behind the Chair. We would really love to see your work. Okay, just going in between the foils and saturating. I like to keep a damp towel on hand at all times. I got these clamps you can get from Amazon, and I either tag them or clamp them to my tray or to my wash bowl. With a damp towel, it makes a huge difference in just the neatness and cleanliness of your application and of your hands.
Teresa's asking, what product do you prefer to pre-tone with?
It really depends. I like to pre-tone with either Joico quick toners, which are incredible, and they're 5-minute toners. They have violet, silver, and sand, and clear. The silver will literally make your hair super white if you apply level 9.5 within 5 minutes. Violet will cancel out all brass and copper or warmth. And then sand will give it a really pretty beige tone. But I would say pre-tone as less gold as possible. So I will add a lot of violet to my shades. It just depends on what they were lifted to. And I would say demi creams are really good too because they're more opaque versus the liquids are more sheer from Joico. So it just really depends on like the tone that you're going for. But I would like to neutralize the color as much as possible before I apply any tone, even if I'm applying warm over it, just so that way everything is nice and even and I have a blank canvas. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and let her sit. I'm gonna saturate this baby later because I wanna get to the other side. All right, so you know how I told you guys that I have a few tips and tricks on how to apply intensity shades. Yes, it's meant to apply for dry hair, but I find that sometimes it's more difficult to fully saturate, or for someone that has really thick hair, I feel like sometimes there's a lot of product that needs to be used. And a few of these tips, it's gonna be, I want it. So we're gonna go ahead and start on the other side so I can showcase you what I'm talking about. Okay, so we're gonna be applying on dry hair, this is what I like to do. I like to either intermix with conditioner or damp the hair a little bit with a bottle. So it really depends on like the pigment that I want of the color to be. For her, we're gonna be intermixing 2 different tones. We're gonna be creating a little bit more of a mauvey pinky tone melting to a peachy ends. And how I'm gonna be doing that is Mauve Amour from the Love Aura collection. It's a really beautiful, cool toned color. Cool toned pink, I should say. And I'm gonna intermix a little bit with soft pink. Now, why I'm doing that is because this soft pink is gonna be that extra punch of the tone of the pigment that I want if I'm gonna be applying on wet or damp hair. If I'm gonna be applying on dry hair, then you don't have to really add that extra pigment. I find that it's easier for me to apply on damp or like wet-ish hair for the application and for the saturation. But again, you're supposed to apply on dry hair, but you gotta know the rules to break the rules, okay? So I intermix it. It still gives me that cool toned mauve look, but it's a little bit more pigmented with the soft pink. Now, if I'm gonna be applying on dry hair, I will still go in and slightly damp the hair just a little bit, just for me to be able to glide that product through much easier. And what I like to do is add a little bit of conditioner. This is Joico Defy Damage conditioner to the color. Just a little bit goes a long way. And I feel like it's gonna allow me to glide that product in much easier by softening up the hair. Now, the key is to make sure that you add more pigment to the color so it really gets the tone that you want if you're applying on dampish hair. Okay, that's gonna be my Formula 1. And then my Formula 2, I'm gonna be using blush and yellow to create a really beautiful peach. So a little bit of blush. And then a dot of yellow will create a gorgeous peach tone. So pretty, look at that intermix. A little bit of yellow makes a huge difference. All 3 primary colors you guys use with, what's the word? Use less is more, I should say. Really create your tone, and then you can utilize all the intensity shades, the bottles, as much as you want. I find that if you spray a little bit of yellow into the blush, it'll make this gorgeous peachy tone. But sometimes I utilize the whole bottle, and then I spray or put a little bit more yellow that I needed, and then I have to use more product. So create your tone first, what you like, know the ratio, and then utilize the rest of the intensity bottle.
Do you test swatch on paper?
I do sometimes, yes, but I find that I know my intensity so well that I don't necessarily always do, but I do when I'm creating new looks or new colors. And I highly recommend for you guys to do the same. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit of conditioner. Literally just a drop makes a huge difference for softening that color or that hair for it to really saturate. Now, because it made it a little bit less pigmented, I'm gonna go in and add a little bit more of a pigment tone. So instead of blush, I'll use a drop of soft pink just to go back in and add that vibrancy of the look that I want again. And again, you guys, a little goes a long way. Don't overdo it. Do drops, make your color, and then utilize the rest of the intensities knowing the ratio so you're not wasting any product. So pretty. Okay, so we damp your hair a little bit. You can even damp it a little bit more if you want. Not too much. You don't ever want to be applying intensities on really wet hair. You want to at least drench out the color as much as possible with a towel. And when I'm applying my intensities, or actually just toning in general, when I'm toning more than one color, I like to apply mid to ends first. And then apply the top root area. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply the mid to ends first. And the reason being is because if I apply the top root area first, then the mid to ends, when I'm blending the 2 colors together, I find that you have to go lower to blend the color. If I apply my mid to ends first, then my root area, I don't have to drop the color as low as I want because I'm applying the root area over the mid to ends on its own already. So then I literally have to just go a little bit lower with the color that I want to create that blend. And just squeeze that color in to create that beautiful blend. Let me turn around so you can see. Okay, same thing with this side. I'm applying my shadow root. I already applied my mid to ends. And then I'm taking my fingers and really squeezing that color. And I'm squeezing it exactly where I want it to go, not lower. So pretty. I really feel that when I apply the conditioner into the color, the hair just softens up, so it's much more easier for me to blend or saturate the color in. And I find that I use less product because of it. Now, if you guys are new to intensities, utilize it exactly how it's supposed to be on dry hair completely. Let it sit for 20 minutes, okay? I've been using the intensities for a while now, for years, so I know exactly how to use it. Use it a little bit more differently. But you gotta know the rules to break the rules. All right, so when we get to the front, I'm gonna separate this section. And go by sections, don't take too thick of sections, but also don't take too thin of sections because you're gonna be here all day. Okay, I'm applying my mid to ends. And see how I'm going higher up with how I want, where I'm actually going to be blending the color down. That way I apply the root area right over it. And it's kind of doing that blending for me with the brush. And then I'll go in and just squeezy in that color, blending in, blurring those two colors together with my fingers at the end. This is supposed to be a very peachy, light tone, so I'm not over pigmenting the intensities. Comb through with a wide tooth comb. This is a Diane comb that you can get from Cosmoprof for saturation, and then go in and squeeze that color in together. Reapply if necessary, making sure everything is saturated very nice and evenly, and then go back in and resaturate. These tones, I want it to be kind of similar-ish, just a little bit more deeper at the root, melting to a peachy tone. So I'm not really caring too much about, the two contrast tones because it's supposed to be very similar. Slightly different, but similar. You guys can see that. You can see that gorgeous mauve rosy tone melting to a stunning peach color. And we'll get to the top. And it's pretty simple as that. These little tips and tricks have helped me along the way of application and just really getting the colors that I want, the saturation that I want. They're not crazy life-changing, but they are when you actually put them into work and everyday work behind the chair. They really have helped me along the run to making sure that all my color is gorgeous and saturated and even. So if you're going to be applying the intensities on damp hair, make sure that you add extra pigment to the color. You have a wide tooth comb to comb through the hair for saturation and reapply as much as necessary. Make sure that you make the tone first before you start using a lot of the tubes. Get your formulation and then finish the rest of the tube so you're not wasting product. This is also very hydrating to the hair because it has cocoon nut oil in the hair. So it leaves the hair super conditioned just by using the intensity alone. So with intensity, it's like you get a treatment and a tone all at the same time. It's kind of magical. And again, they have 31 shades, which is incredible. You can intermix them and you don't use a developer on it at all. If you want to get rid of the color, use Joico Color Eraser. You can either mix it with water, with volume 10 or volume 20, depending on the pigment of the color. And the Joico color eraser will take the color out within 20-30 minutes. It's like literally magic. And then you can reapply another shade over it. So it's literally, I mean, the possibilities are endless with the shades because there's so many different tones that you can intermix for the client. You can customize each shade that no one else will be able to formulate besides you. That's what's so great about it. All right, and then I'm gonna let her sit for 20 minutes and you guys will be able to see the finished result on my Instagram, on Joico's Instagram, and on Behind the Chairs Instagram. If you guys have any more questions, please slip in my DMs and Joico's DMs and we will answer them as much as possible. This was super quick, super easy technique, but very efficient. I hope you guys enjoy this. And if you guys want any more free education, Joico has over 190 free videos that are step-by-steps by incredible Joico artists. And where you go is Joico Education on Demand if you are interested. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all, and I hope you have a great Monday. Mwah.